Check 1, 2, check. Boy, we got some levels. Dang. All right, here we go. We have some classic Art Bell EVP recording techniques, and this is another installment with some radiation-free mix beats, like this. And we're on the Walgreen, enjoy the stream and relax. We're going to Donald Fred today, so let's do it.
Encourage you about the other side, or scare the hell out of you about the other side. It tends to do the latter to me because I kind of figured when you go to the other side, you ascend to some nice, lovely place. Probably not 70 virgins, but it's nice, right? As you listen to some of the voices that have been recorded on tape, this electronic voice phenomena, you will begin to debate with yourself what the nature of the other side really is, and how anxious, therefore, you are to get to it. At any rate, it will, I promise you, cause you to think. So stand by for that. Electronic voice phenomena. Voices from the other side you can hear coming up. The Ghost Investigators Society, GIS, was started by Jenny Nielsen, Roger and Barbara McBeath, and Brendan Cook. Brendan is the webmaster of the GIS website, www.ghostpics.com. He's been conducting ghost research and ghost investigations in the field for the last 3 years. Brendan was very skeptical of electronic voice phenomena until he first recorded it for himself. It was about 3.5 years ago. His desire to learn how EVP happens has been the driving force in his continuation of conducting ghost research and investigations. His goal is to help explain the phenomena of EVP. Since Barbara was a child and able to read, she has researched and read everything she could get her hands on concerning true ghost experiences, from true ghost stories of experiencers, as we get here on the air, to case files from ghost researchers in the field, plus her own interviews with those who have experienced ghost phenomena. Although she grew up with grandparents who had practiced spiritualism, and she indulged in it herself, at least until she reached young adulthood, her views have changed over the years toward the entities that she used to deal with in her seances and the ghosts that linger in our realm. She was raised not to fear the entities who were in her house as a child and does not fear the ghosts who remain among us. She has been researching and investigating for over 30 years. Well, welcome back to the program, you two.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
Thank you, Art. And Barbara, your last name I do pronounce McBeath, is that correct?
No.
No, see? Every time
I have a hard time with that.
I really do. I want to pronounce it that way. It's Macbeth, I guess, huh?
Yes.
Well, you know, the way of spelling it, I was told. Yes. All right. Well, I think the first most important thing to do before we play any of this remarkable material is to explain to people exactly how it's obtained and the stringent methods in obtaining it. It really is important that people understand this. Otherwise, it's too easy to write it off. But if you explain to us how it's done and the care that's taken in doing it, then they'll understand the significance of what they're hearing.
Exactly. EVP is a fairly simple process to record. However, there's a lot of different theories on how it ends up on tape. Basically, just get a microcassette recorder, regular tape recorder, anything that uses the electromagnetic field to record, and we use an external microphone, of course, just to cut out motor noise. You always use blank tape, and other than that, you just go to known haunted locations.
I think the blank tape part is most important because it's so easy to say, exactly, it's on before it was properly erased.
Yeah, the blank tape part is
So there would normally be nothing other than a soft hiss on a unrecorded tape. It would be brand new. It has never been impressed magnetically. There is no way in the world these voices could be showing up other than some kind of a anomalous phenomenon. And you first discovered this how long ago?
Well, if you're talking about personally discovered it, it was probably 3.5, 4 years ago that I heard about EVP.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me draw it away from the personal. How old is EVP stuff? When was it discovered?
EVP has been around for a long time. People just now are thinking it's a new phenomenon. However, it's been around usually in the 20s. And the majority of the research has been done around the 50s.
Okay. So, a long time. Yeah, can you name any of the real pioneers in the field?
There's Rodabay, Hans Jurgensen, even Thomas Edison has been working on something, although it never got finished.
Thomas Edison?
Yes.
So in other words, in his research, he actually documented things he absolutely could not account for.
Yeah, he believed that it was possible to communicate with the other side.
And he was working on a project at the time of his death.
That's really interesting. Really interesting that he would have believed that. He believed that himself. That he didn't look for some other scientific explanation. Since that's what he worked in.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe he did, and he simply couldn't come up with one. And that's what I'm telling everybody who says, what a bunch of baloney. Why are you wasting your time on this? Blah, blah, blah. I get those kind of sometimes. And then I generally write back and I ask, what is your explanation for this?
And we just go back to, what do we have to gain by making this? It's a real something that's out there, and if you don't believe us, just go try it.
One of the problems people have is that you don't come on here and sell stuff on the show either. Not even in a book, right?
No. And I brought this up before on the show. There is no point in charging for what we're doing or charging for access to our website. This is something, for one, we enjoy doing, and we love sharing it with everybody, and we just want to get more people out trying it.
Well, that's a big problem for people who are, looking to say what a bunch of malarkey. If you're selling something, it makes it easy to say that. Well, you take that one away too, because you're not selling anything. And then there's the biggest one of all, and that is, if you've got the guts for it, and you're willing to devote a little time to it, you can do it at home. I mean, a number of people have done that have emailed me. They finally have taken the trouble, and they go, oh my God, I got something on tape. I got a voice on tape from the other side.
Yeah, and that's really one of the things that's so nice about this is you can spend as much or as little money on this as you want and still get results out of it.
Sure, anybody can afford a little cassette recorder of some sort.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, and you guys are very stringent, aren't you, about having blank tapes? Oh, yeah, brand new tapes, not just blank, but brand new. And in the interpretation of what you get, how does that work? Is it kind of a committee thing? Do you all sit down and decide what it is being said?
Well, some of the voices are, to us, are definitely, it's very, very clear on what is being said. And other times, all of us will hear different things on voices. And it's the ones that we get that we definitely know what they're saying, that there's no question to us on what it is saying. Most of the times, it will relate to something that we are talking about at the time. And the voice will come in and say something that is relating to what we're talking about or what we're doing at that time. We've had many people say that we're picking up their cell phones or radio emissions or radio emissions, and most of the time it's relating to what we are talking about or doing.
And all of this, as it always has through every program I've done with you, bothers the hell out of me because that means that the spirits are in a conscious form. If they're listening to you and they're able to interact with you, that means that it's intelligence kind. All there is without body.
And that's one of my things. I'm not so much interested in trying to have people go out and do this themselves because I know that it isn't for everyone. This is something that bothers people, and it isn't for everyone to try. My point is showing that the conscious survives death and that we do survive in our consciousness.
Which might be a good thing if you're not stuck down here on Earth, unable to communicate with anybody other than, in a short burst on the Whitney machine. Think what kind of life that must be. Lonely, dark, cold. I don't know, just, it's unattractive being. You don't necessarily have that take on it, do you?
No, I don't.
How come? I mean, how can you not have that take on it?
I think that many times some of these ghosts are here by choice. I feel like they have unfinished business. I do feel like some of them are stuck here, and I do feel sorry for those that are stuck and don't realize that they've passed on.
Yeah, some don't realize they're dead. Some sound confused.
Yeah.
Some sound angry, which means they've reached another stage here.
But they should have been angry when they were alive. I think that the mind of that is still the same.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of other people walking around.
Not everyone has a wonderful, blissful life. There's a lot of misery in people's lives, and that misery continues on.
And I definitely do believe that when you hear these voices tonight, especially the ones that were at the prison, you'll definitely hear the torment and the madness.
And that is where we're going to begin. What is it, the first 10 or 11 of these?
Yeah, the first 11 tracks are from a prison in Rawlins, Wyoming.
Rawlins, Wyoming. Now, as a matter of interest, why would I guess I'm answering my own question as I'm thinking about it. People who had been incarcerated and had nothing to do but think and be inside themselves all the time. Exactly.
You have somebody who's in prison for 40 years. They're going to still feel like that after they passed on.
And a lot of people, I guess, die in prison, don't they?
Oh, yeah. This particular prison, they affectionately refer to it as the old pen. And they conduct tours through it. Our first preliminary investigation at the prison, we went on a regular tour to the prison. They conduct these tours daily.
And when you tell them, look, we want to go in with tape recorders and record the voices of ghosts here in your prison. How do they react to that idea?
Well, first of all, they were aware that the prison was haunted before we had gotten there.
Oh.
And, and it really surprised us that they were so open to us coming in and doing that. Even after we got to talking.
Are you talking about the prison administration and guards there?
Well, first of all, the prison is closed down. It's now, they've turned it into a museum. It's over 100 years old. No, actually, it's about 100 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, that explains it.
Yeah, so it's basically a museum now that they just take tours through. And the lady who's directing it right now actually had experiences. Some of the people that worked there had experiences. And when they found out what it was we did, they were very open to what we were doing.
I've also had people that have been on the tour that have had experience there. They were completely aware there was entities there. In fact, there was a nun, they were saying that a nun had gone through there and had some experience And it upset her so bad, she was crying and she lived quite horribly, and they had to live after that episode, but there's still things taking place there.
Were there executions on that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were.
In fact, they used to, when the prison was built, it started being built in 1886, and the completion of it was done in 1894, and it sat in custodial status for a few years, and then in 1901 it was opened and started. They started putting prisoners there.
All right, well, let's do a couple of fast ones here. The first two we'll try to get in before close to the this first one?
All right, well, this first one was recorded by Barbara's husband named Roger, and it was recorded while he was walking from the library of the prison into the old hole. And the hole was where they used to stick the prisoners that had been bad or disobeyed the guards. And what they would do is take off all their clothes and throw them in the hole naked. And this is in Wyoming, so during the winter, this is extremely cold, and someone would go insane or ridiculously freeze to them.
All right, so what are we about to hear?
Anyway, this one is going to be Dr. Whitehead.
Dr. Whitehead. Oh, very clear, Dr. Whitehead. Did you ask anybody at the prison whether there had been a doctor by the name of Whitehead there ever?
Yes, I asked Tina, the director, to research it and see if she could locate the name of the doctor by that name, or if there was a prisoner that was named that.
Right.
And so she's researching it. I haven't heard back on that, but she was going to do some research and see if she could find out.
All right. Number two.
This voice, this sounds like two different voices to me. I recorded this in cell block A, and that was the original part of the prison. And after I just said, I think that they're just walking around, and there's a voice that says, I'm walking, and then another one that sounds different to me that says, I'm walking.
Oh, wow. There it is. I'm walking.
And now that
Wow. You know, I really say wow because, the experience on the other side is not almost universally some sort of negative experience for those who remain here on Earth. Why do we get the best results from areas where people have been murdered, where people have committed suicide, where people have been executed, incarcerated, or otherwise more or less tortured? Hello?
I can't even answer that. Unless there's some kind of print in the atmosphere of that location that takes place. I think that sometimes the voices that we get are that type of occurrence. The ones that interact with what we're doing and talking about, I have to think that there is a presence there.
Well, I think the happy campers have mostly moved on.
I don't think that there are such things as real happy ghosts.
Sue in Vancouver, Washington said, hey, I listened to Paul Hardy, and he talked about the Edison experiment. And he said the family covered it up at the time of his death to save embarrassment. Had you heard that?
Yes, I have.
I'll be darned.
It wasn't something that was
Still isn't.
very well known.
It still isn't. Not too well known and probably not very well accepted, but I think true. I know that when some people hear this sort of thing, it makes them angry. If you run into that.
Oh yeah, we definitely run into people who are angry that we were even doing and that we're recording voices pretty messages thing, I guess.
What if you're right?
Well,
you know, I mean, they never put away. Yeah, basically, and I really don't believe that's what it is. And I brought this up on the show before that, you know, even the management look into doing that. Just not what people are aware of it. That's what we do this. I really don't think there are too many people who are aware of it. They can look into it, and you agree that they will look into it. Right, that's correct. And back to we're still at moments. Yes. Well, this one was recorded in Philadelphia by Barbara, and it's a woman named Holly. It's almost like she's looking for somebody named Holly. Right? See if you can hear Holly. I'm not sure. I don't think I hear Holly. I don't hear the Y at the end. But I'm going to listen to that again and sort of the audience. Let's see what they think. By the way, I'm taking fast tests. If you have any idea what you're hearing, let's listen to that. Yeah, I don't think I hear the Y at the end of that. Yeah, it might be Holly. Well, that's like someone calling for someone. It does. It does sound like that. And maybe that helps you come to the conclusion that it was a name. Yes, and there were women prisoners at this location. And when you were talking about prisoners that had been executed there, they originally hung men on death row. They had hanging camel there, and then there was a gas chamber that was later brought in, and they used gas to execute the prisoner. Oh, my wife just brought me a note saying my cat is absolutely going berserk over that voice. I'll play it again if you have a cat. See if your cat reacts to this. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Here we go. Pretty strange stuff, and my cat is going berserk. Maybe that's just my cat. Have you had animals respond in strange ways to these voices? Okay, guys, there's a new one for you. All four of my cats are going totally berserk at that one. We'll see if we get more of that from the audience. Really good one. I want to get further down in the list of the district. Well, Mr. Carter, he has mentioned to one of the people there that he was going to go over to the death house, and he recorded this voice. We're really not sure what it says, but to us it sounds, the best we can come up with is that it sounds like it's saying right now. Right now, all right, let's see if it is saying right now. I clearly hear right now. Now, if that's right, you weren't sure of that one. I wasn't sure of Holly, but right now, that's as clear as well. And that's really kind of the trick of ADT. People can't hear it. Some are so clearly voices. Others have a strange, very strange quality. A very strange quality, yes. Does that indicate to you all that it's hard to get through to the other side? Yes, I've always related it to it sounding like someone speaking underwater. I think that it takes a very large amount of energy on their part to come through. And I think that's why one reason why we just get short little sentences and big long conversations with them. Now, eventually, cell phones that sound very much at times like these voices will also improve and get clearer. So we can all help. What comes next? Well, okay. Roger, we're returning on your own. One up there. And you'll hear this voice just say, shut up, shut up. All right, here we go. All right, here's what I want to hear the first part of that again, where we hear Roger's voice. First I thought that was the same voice, but it is not the same voice. I listened very carefully. I thought, oh, you know, that sounds like the exact same voice, but it's not. Now, that would seem to be Anyway, let's go to the next one.
is his sail and his next floor. You can see his shoe. I guess if he would turn around and walk the other direction, these sails are really small.
I gotta think about that.
He must have faced that when he was incarcerated there for, I think, they said about over 40 years.
Well, something else that's interesting about this guy is he was in there for over 30 years. He had been released. He basically went on the trip out of the prison, ate his lunch, came back in after he got back in.
Prisoners, they do that. They actually become accustomed to their cell and not at all comfortable with the outside world.
Right, they've been incarcerated for long, they don't know how to adjust,
All right, here it is. Let's see what everybody hears. There it is, always walking. Not hard to hear at all for me. Now listen a little bit, but clearly always walking. Always walking. And that's, to me, folks, that's the dark side. My God, if you've been in prison all your life, or you've died in prison, or been executed in prison, to imagine the sentence continues on the other side. Listen very carefully. See, that one comes down heavily on my side. It may be that justice continues. I mean, what else do you draw from that?
this is clearly someone lived there in that prison for many years to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was the man that was facing in his cell that was sick in his cell on the cement floor. It's amazing to see.
But doesn't that mean what I just said?
Yeah.
So maybe the hell on earth continues on the other side for those who put themselves in it here.
The mental state is still the same.
When you think about eternity, that has an awful lot of meaning.
Yes, it does.
Well, and, there's a lot of theories that, hell is basically repetition. And it really be what this is. Here's somebody, Casey in California writes, my dog doesn't like these recordings. He's barking and growling at all of them, except the one that said humming, which caused him to run from the room, whimpering with his ears back and his tail down. Yeah, you may be finding out something new tonight. I'm getting a lot of these fast blasted to me. A lot of animals out there have reacted to these things. That's quite interesting.
I have a cat and a dog, and just might be used to the tone of these voices, but I've never seen them react to it.
Well, as you point out, though, they've been hearing the dead for years.
Yes, they have. But they're old and their hearing might be gone by now, so I don't know.
All right, we are still in prison, and I think we're up to number 7 here.
Right, so this is a really interesting place. You're putting the idea into everything. And what's interesting about it is in this clip, you'll hear Burner reading the rules of governing context. And he's on rule 2, which is talking about how they must observe strict silence. Because one of the reasons we wonder why we didn't get allowed to BBP at this prison. Because the prisoners were not allowed to talk with their parents, only the visitors.
Oh, really?
But then Barbara will actually, you hear on this recording, taking that rule that they must observe strict silence, especially when the visitors are there. And there's not making eye contact with the visitor. But, and after that, they're still going to take that way. And anyway, what you're going to hear on the clip is
Oh, that's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. That only came on one track, by the way. Most of these are on 2 tracks, only on 1 track.
I know I'm just being on 2 tracks. I just realized that I probably heard that when they were putting it into the system. Well, you take that as a
what they could not do in life, they will damn well do in death. It's a finance thing. They haven't even realized they're dead, and whoever's got control of their life doesn't have control of them anymore. Maybe, except you have to ask yourself, no problem, they're still here. Well, I mean, just people mentally tortured by it, they still think they're trapped. I never thought of a prison as being a good source of electronic phenomenon, but sadly, in Sarasota, Florida says, were you or your guests aware that Sir Paul McCartney, in an interview on ABC's Good Morning America, said that he had a recording of his voice on tape after he died? In fact, it can be found at ABC's website. No, I was most certainly not aware of that, Tim. Thank you very much. And Donna writes from Pueblo, Colorado. I've worked in corrections for 13 years, and I've seen 2 ghosts. One we heard, it rattled Folgers Adams keys. The other slammed doors. Pretty scary stuff on the block at 2 a.m. when it happens. You 2, you're back on. Thank you. I've really noticed Britney Spears can be extremely haunted. And I think that has a lot to do with the mentality these people have in life. If you do any traveling, you might want to get over to Sing Sing. There's several prisons that we would be interested in investigating. There's one that we're working on right now. Hopefully they'll give us the approval. Yeah, are they currently still prisons? No, like the prior prison in Raleigh. Yeah, easier to get into if decommission. And they would be more likely to let us conduct an investigation. Like it's not interesting. Sure. All right, the next one. This next one, there was 3 of us that recorded this voice. We're using the one that Jimmy recorded. It was loud and clear. So in other words, 3 of you with 3 separate recorders, all with brand new tapes, recorded the same thing. Yes. And investigation, we conducted our investigation in the house, and the investigation. And who did the sorts of people react when they heard this? And the audience. We got a coverage when actually scared. We found that when people are excited when they go out with us, some of the physical activity is what we're doing. We have this very good guarantee that fear produces is something that the people who are comfortable. Yes, but those people who say that you're hearing the devil or the demons, this would invalidate that thought with it to some degree. It would be your own personal beliefs. I mean, there's people in life, and, there's a lot of nice people in life, and you're in a present, obviously, you're going to be dealing with some of the more evil people. That's true. And, a couple of voices will be telling you about a man that's supposed to be loving this person. And he was quite evil. What are we about here? And I was telling Paul, the anchor guy that covered this, I was showing him a video, video that I had gotten at him. And I don't know if this voice is related to that information spirit energy that looked like it came out through his chest. And I answered that. like, well, was that one of you? It might have been something we found out when we turned on TV. That's an eerie one, I think. And again, that weird sound, that really weird sound. Inside prison anyway in the area of death. Okay. I will on to the next one. Alright. Next one is an interesting story that goes with it. There's and, well, first of all, there's an older lady who comes to the prison daily or weekly to bring the prisoners and make those and it's just really friendly with them, and the prisoner likes her. This man has escaped from Rowan's prison and has somehow ended up at this lady's house, raped her and left her for dead. The only good deed ever going unpunished. Yeah. And, they eventually caught up with this guy, brought him back to Rowan's prison. Well, the prisoners found out that he had done this to this lady, and they were not too happy about it. So what he had done was, at night, he came up to the fourth tier of the blockade and threw him over the side. Over the side. And the guards didn't pay any attention. They let him do it. Well, this voice, well, not really a voice, it's a scream, was recorded where this guy had been thrown over the fourth tier. They threw him over that tier twice. Yeah, they weren't sure the first time. So they threw him off again? Yeah. And this is the location where you recorded the phone. Yeah, the doctor recorded this. This is just a scream. All right, here we go. Oh my God, that's clearly a scream. That's clearly a scream. That's the first thing it is tossed off the bottom of the bullet, too. Exactly like that. And more and more. That's pretty eerie stuff, folks. I think that's something like that. And you're all sitting around. How do you, how does that hit you? Roger recorded that, and he came apart when he was listening, because we listened to these voices of his, we listened to our tape. There were the voices we recorded at this business. They were some history and talk. Really could use them to post on the website. Well, you told people our rules that you couldn't talk in this prison. The prisoners themselves could not talk. Right. So I guess if you got thrown off a roof, you could scream. Yeah. For a second. Well, and likely that the guards pretty much knew that it happened and just let it go. Oh, listen, no one had ever prosecuted for it. Oh, yeah. Prisons are their own internal society. Yeah. That's as true today as it ever has been. There's a justice with it. Right outside the gap. Because it is really an education, it's very historical time, and I think it was in 1978, and Can you tell us?
Well, for one, I don't know if they being ghosts even have a concept of time. I wonder if they're just stuck in whatever time it was that they had passed on.
So that the activity, to the best of your knowledge, doesn't lessen and remains the same.
It wouldn't lessen it like they have decided to go on.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
Associations that were very active when we first started. Every time we would go there, we would get quite excessive amount of talking from them. And now when we go there, it's like they've left. It's like they're no longer there. And if we do get a voice, it's not the same voices that we get.
Well, that's kind of hopeful. Yeah, but indicate that some of them will
Yes, I do believe that. And we're going around on an investigation, and we're talking about life after death. And I do believe that some of these spirits realize that they are dead, and they resolve mentally whatever.
All right, here comes the last one from the prison, from Romans prison. Tell me about it.
This again was the death of that was right outside of the door leading to the cafeteria. And this is a single get out. Get out again. And the second time seems to be more upset and more excited that it wants us to leave. You can hear your voice in there. Jackson, I told you the second get out. Dean, get out. I can hear your voice. Really?
Listen to that. Here we go. Absolutely didn't want you there. You gotta wonder, you really gotta wonder, if you didn't get out, if that had not been the end of your visit, have you ever been worried that something else will manifest? I mean, if something is telling you that emotionally, to get the hell out, and you don't get out,
well, we haven't been worried about it, because that's what we're there to experience, is whatever death manifests. And, at the end, that's what we would hope would happen.
I don't feel these are good voice clips. They just leave one confused about what's going on with the other side. Research and communication is still going on from the other side, so she firmly believes that. But she doesn't like the tone of these recordings because she says it confuses people about the other side. Well, we're not really here to, in my opinion, give you fluff. I mean, we're here to give you what it is they get, and this is what they're getting. I mean, if you listen to them, if anything, they argue the opposite argument that I do, and that apparently Trudy does too. They argue that these are not really evil spirits at all. However, I don't believe that. Some of these sound pretty evil to me. But, it does, I suppose it could confuse somebody about the nature of death, of life, or, continued consciousness following death. It could confuse people, couldn't it? Have you thought of that?
Yeah, but you got to take into consideration the location of where we recorded these voices. This prison was really a horrendous place to be incarcerated. It wasn't a country club like a lot of the new prisons today. They didn't even get
cheapest auto insurance rate as long as $19 a month.
running water into this prison until 1978. And when it was first built, their conditions were very harsh. It was a hard working prison. It was a working prison where prisoners were expected to put in their full day for sun rise to sunset.
Yes, but Barbara, these recordings would indicate clearly that life over there on the other side could be as bad as the environment you're in, or Barbara, even worse.
The mental state the person is in life. That's why they say it's important to make your life as healthy and as wonderful as possible, because how you are in life is exactly how you're going to be in death.
That's something to ponder, isn't it? Everybody should ponder that. How you live is how you will die. How you will spend your time on the other side.
How you take your life and exactly how you're going to be when you die.
If you're a nasty, rotten, miserable person, then you are destined to spend eternity as a nasty, rotten. So you see, it's not exactly us something, ascending into the cloud-filled place, floating about with golden wings and soaring in the clouds and the heavens, and doing whatever it is you do in heaven. It could be just exactly what you're hearing. I mean, that is a refreshingly important understanding, I think, about the other side. That's really, really important.
Very important. And how you live your life and how you think and conduct yourself is very important.
All right, we finally now get to leave the prison, right?
Yes, we are leaving the prison.
Okay, good. Where are we going?
We're in a mausoleum.
Where is the
We were conducting an investigation in this mausoleum, and GIS member Jenny, you will hear her voice. She was showing me something on her video camera that she had gotten with her infrared camera, and you'll hear her say, "Do you see it?" And then you'll hear her voice come in that says, "Then she comes back," and then Jenny will say, right there.
Then she comes back. That part's from the other side.
Yes.
Here we go. Listen. He comes back. Oh, that's at first I had a hard time hearing it, but then one more time. Well, that's really clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny that when it's immersed in with the other voice, it's very hard to pick out. But then when you have isolated it, it's so clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the voice that we get. We don't realize that we're getting a voice at a time, and a lot of times we'll just talk right over it.
Talk a little bit about your website. Yeah, we got a link now to our.com because tonight's guest info, and there will be a link to your website. When they get there, what do they find?
Well, the website right now, we do have over 100. None of these prison voices, two of them, post on the website. They're right now, and we'll get those up tomorrow.
Just what you do.
Along with some other ones we haven't posted yet. Other ones that we haven't played on the show.
Can I answer a question?
Yes.
Over here on the side, we use a lot of bad language. Not here on the radio, but in life, people use bad language, right? Yeah. Occasionally on the radio, actually. So on the other side, I would think there would be bad language as well, and you've never presented me with one with bad language in it. Suggesting that you do, what I am asking is, do you get them?
Yes, we do. Not as frequently as we would think, but I mean, we do get bad language. I think actually we only even present 2 examples on the website.
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, there's a good reason to go to the website alone.
It's a good family website is what it is.
So you're not overwhelmed. Well, in the raw material that you never post, you get a high percentage, medium, low percentage, what?
I think it's kind of low compared to the amount of voices that we've got.
Well, maybe by the time they get over there, they figure out taking the Lord's name in vain was not a good idea. Yeah, that could be it. All right. Here we go again, so to speak. All right. Well, they wanted that name like Liam, and in this clip, you're gonna, and this is a topic you've addressed on the show before. You're gonna hear Herbert say that just can't get a handle on why there's so many children hanging around. Right. And you're going to hear a man say you expect to again. They're real correct. Do you expect to again? Do you think that's an answer? Yeah, like, do you expect to record tails again? Right? Here he is. Do you expect to again? That's obviously an older man's voice. No question about it. Let me follow up on that a little bit. Do you get a disproportionate number of children? Yes. There are a lot of persons that sound like children. Definitely children. Why do you think that is? I don't know. The only thing that I've gotten a couple of different theories about it. There have been occasions when ghosts have been witnessed by different people in different stages of that ghost's life. And even if we had a bad time, most of us will reflect that as being one of our happiest times. So, do you believe that these spirits have indeed reverted to their childhoods, or do you just think it's easier for children to speak across the veil? I have a lot to written about because I've been very surprised about the amount of children that we've recorded. Why haven't you sent me more? Well, probably you too. You don't know me. But I'm here to be bothered. Well, I don't know. There could be. They're trying to go on. Their energy is so much more than ours. And you hear people say, "Oh, I wish I had his energy." Talking about little trials. I really cannot answer you. Well, if we can take it at face on and assume they are children, lots of children die, just like lots of adults, unfortunately. And so then, have you yet come to the conclusion that at death we are in essence frozen in the at the age, physiological age when we die? I believe so. You do. Most of the time, yes. I do think that although there's so much that has to be learned, and as our technology advances, we think we know so much now, and then as our technology advances, we find out that what we think we know, we really don't. We have to reanalyze everything that we thought we knew. All right, onward we go. Next one. This one was really a continuation of Do You Expect to Again? I think it's talking. In our own talking. And it says, I think he said, once you started, but I just started talking and cut off this voice. Okay, all right. That in itself is kind of interesting, actually, as I examine this phenomenon. Here we go. Yep, what we've got. How many voices? Has it ever happened to you that a voice opens up with a virtual entire paragraph or a whole thought that exceeds, 2 or 3 or 4 words, or even a short sentence, but, something really long. What's the longest one you've ever recorded?
I think that, the Cherokee laughed at me, real cute laugh. And another time at a place called Fort Douglas in Salt Lake City, Utah, we recorded a man that says, I ain't ever seen anything that can compare to this. I think those are probably two of the longest ones that we've ever recorded.
What percentage of the time, I hate to pummel you with so many questions, but what percentage of the time is whatever said responsive to something that you have said or thought versus whatever said having nothing to do or no context with regard to what you said? It'd probably be 30-40% of the time. Might be responding to a question or something like that. The rest of the time, 70% or so has no apparent connection to it. Well, in a way it does, because it interacts with what we're doing amongst ourselves. We may not even be referring to them when we're doing the investigation. It'll break in with what we're talking about. So are you convinced the other side can see and hear us with relatively little effort compared to our hearing or seeing them?
I believe that they're aware of us. They are aware of what we're doing, and I believe they can hear us.
Do you think the dead envy the living?
I don't. No. No. Unless they moved on to wherever it is or excuse me, the other way around. If they moved on to where they're supposed to go, I don't think they do. However,
you don't get to hear from that group, do you?
No. And that's why I believe.
Are you all pretty sure that what you're hearing, though it's coming from the other side, is coming from a place not ascended? That these are actually earthbound spirits?
So the places that we go and conduct investigations are known to have activity. The people that work there or live there all report having experienced ghost activity. So there is some presence there because of the things that have taken place there. And usually a ghost will be linked to the place that it haunts.
Therefore, would it be reasonable for people in my audience to conclude they would have at least a fair chance in an old family home of recording their dead parents or grandparents or great-grandparents?
Yes, if they've experienced activity there, yes, I would say so. Because even if I've had people tell me that their children will be the ones that notice things a lot, where the parents will, blow it off and be not be aware of things, where the children will be aware of things.
There's actually two groups on. There's children. There's a very old folks. The very elderly, which almost revert to a childlike state. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And they too begin to see things and hear things from the other side that people with the business of life all around them don't. Okay, before the top of the hour, the next one, number 15, actually, I think.
Sure. Well, this one was recorded by Barbara, and it's called the Union Station. It's an old train station here in Ogden, Utah. And it's sort of a museum right now. And Barbara is her husband, one of her brothers, conducted this investigation at the station, and done more investigations there. And when they were inside of the station, they walked past a police substation that was inside the building. And when they opened up the door, policemen had opened the door and come out and I guess asked, what are you doing here? Or what are you doing in here? But this woman's voice comes in before the mom's voice even comes in,
in here. Here we go. Yes, very clear. What are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? Let's try it one more time. Let's see. How do I get way up there? All right, here it is. One more time. All of them with that eerie sound to them.
Yes, and I also recorded this on my videotape. In fact, it's louder on my videotape than it was my audio tape.
You're kidding.
And I don't believe she was aware of them until they opened the door and came out. I think she was in there with the police officers.
So then videotape is probably as good a medium as audio tape.
Yes, I've recorded many voices on my video.
Actually, videotape, as it passes an audio head, is nothing any different at all, really, than just a tape recorder. It really is. Same magnetic tape, basically.
Right.
That's heavy stuff. A lot of people ask about digital modes. Why you don't use a mini CD player or CD recorder, whatever, something like that. It would take out the hiss sound. And your answer to that is?
Well, first of all, I'm not aware of a lot of people who have gotten results with a digital recorder. And the other problem with that is the people that I am aware of that have got results with it run into a problem with what's called digital static or static discharge, basically.
I can tell you why digital recording doesn't work. I'm firmly convinced of this, and we'll see if others agree with me or not. But here's the deal. I am convinced that voices and or apparitions or anything else from the other side, as has been proven through studies at all kinds of major universities, have connected with them high magnetometer readings, meaning there is some sort of electromagnetic or magnetic power in the area of these emissions or visions. Now, that's been recorded a zillion times. That would indicate to me that these are electromagnetic beings or electromagnetic communications, however you want to think of it. It would be unlikely to be impressed in a digital format. However, given audio recording tape and the magnetic method used in recording, it would be much more likely to appear, if not almost solely to appear on things done on magnetic. Well, listen to our show.